Do you know what is the Advanced Trade Management, the ATM? Today I'm going to explain you the basic features of this important tool. Through the ATM, you can establish your profit target, your stop loss, and now to break even. That is a very important tool. You can trail your stop, assuring a defined gain, a defined profit, and keeps moving it as market moves favorable to your position. There are several possibilities, but today I'm going to show the basic ones that are really helpful, especially for protecting you and avoiding you need to take decision when you are in the trade. Hope you enjoy. So guys, turning here to my screen, if you get the SuperDOM, you will have here in the bottom right the ATM strategy. Here is where we are going to automate. Then we just click the arrow here and then custom. This screen will show up here where we get the parameters to be established. Okay, so starting from the order quantity, the type of the parameter, then entering here in parameter type, you establish the parameter you are going to use to set up your targets or stop loss. Then I usually set it to ticks. I prefer using ticks than currency or price or percent. In ticks, in my case, is easier to understand. Then establishing ticks, you can establish here your stop loss, how many ticks in this case. For example, most of the time I use 2 points, that means 8 ticks. And your profit you establish here in ticks as well. For example, 3 points, 12 ticks. Okay, so here it's established your stop loss and your take profit. But you can also establish, and this is really interesting, your stop strategy. Then if you click at custom, you can customize your strategy here. And then in my case, the auto break-even is really important. No matter how you establish, it's important to have one. Okay, because one of the worst stops is when you were taking profits, but then you see the trade revert and then you end up losing. This is terrible. So in my case, I prefer to use an auto break-even. For example, here my target is 8 points. I could say, for example, you could establish an auto break-even at 4 ticks profit, for example, or 6 ticks. It's up to you. It's up to your risk management plan. Besides the auto break-even, you can also set up your auto trail. That is also an interesting tool. For example, here, one step trailing stop. For example, I already established my auto break-even with 4 ticks. If I put here my trailing stop to be triggered with 5 ticks, then I need to establish my new stop loss here. For example, I would establish 3 ticks. This means that at 5 ticks, when reaching 5 ticks, this auto trailing will be triggered and my stop will be positioned 3 ticks behind the price. Okay, at reaching 5 ticks, it will be established on 2 ticks, entry plus 2 ticks. And also an important parameter is the frequency, because it will establish the frequency of trailing this stop. In this case, establish the frequency 1. Each time prices move 1 tick, it moves the stop. It keeps constantly moving the stop together with prices increase in this case. Then if turning back and reach your stop, you're out of the trade. But you can establish, for example, 2. If you put 2 here in the frequency, it means that it will need to reach at least 7 ticks of profit to move your stop loss. Okay, this is up to the trader as well, because sometimes the market is you have market shaking, and then you prefer not to adjust at every tick moving upwards. Then you could prefer to establish it moving 4 ticks upwards, then I will adjust it. Then you can make all these adjustments. That is completely up to your strategy, and you should test to see what could be the one that best works for you. Then you will come here and save this stop strategy. You could put any name you want here. Stop strategy 1, for example. Okay, and then you have to save also your ATM template as a whole. So when you see at ATM strategy, you will have this strategy set here. Okay, so let's make a test in our strategy. Basically, that's it. Hope you have enjoyed. Any doubts, please just drop me a comment. I will be glad in answering you.